To our next session, which will be given by Policy SIG. And to begin with the session, I would like to welcome the moderator, the director of TWNIC. Let's welcome 顧靜恆組長，掌聲歡迎 ，please.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome all of you to participate Policy SIG. Policy SIG is to the development policy which related the management and the use of internet number resources. The policies are for resource allocation, recovery, and the transfer, and the resource registration. We have two experienced speakers today. The first one is Sunny from APNIC. Sunny is APNIC's senior advisor for policy and the community development, and also liaison officer for the South Asia region. He is responsible for supporting the APNIC community in the resource policy development process and enhancing the level of engagement and the participation of the members of community which APNIC serve. Today's Sunny's speech topic is APNIC policy update. Let's welcome Sunny. Sunny, it's your time.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you also for my good friends at TWNIC to invite me for this session. I don't know how many of you have gone through or familiar with the APNIC policy development process. So I thought, I'll go through the development process first, and then go into the proposals update, the proposals that were discussed at APNIC 56 conference in Japan recently. So if you already know the APNIC policy development process, this could be a refresher for you, and I'm happy to take any questions you have later on. So to begin with, since we are talking about policies, it's important to understand, what is a policy, because we have various documents that get submitted to APNIC conference. Some are technical presentations, some are SIG presentations, but these are actually the proposals that get discussed at the APNIC conferences are policies that refers to the requirements of IP resources allocation, management, how a internet service provider or an entity can use them, and what is the criteria. And a proposal is just a formal submission of a thought of an idea that people want to change something or implement something for the good of everyone. So that's a proposal, and that's very rough draft, that get presented to everyone in the community to discuss and then to ask questions, before it becomes a policy. So who sets these policies? These are not APNIC secretariat policies, okay? These are actually policies proposed by the community. That's including the NIRs, NIRs like TWNIC, and other NIRs as well, and NIR members. They do propose, and they can participate in this policy development process, because this is for the entire Asia Pacific region, including all the NIR regions within the Asia Pac region. So what's Secretariat role? The Secretariat APNIC's role in here is to actually help the open policy meeting, to facilitate, to help the open policy meeting, to help the authors to put forward the proposals. We guide them how to write the proposals, what's the language to use in the proposals, etc. And we Secretariat staff, we do not engage in voicing our opinion. So when I present the proposals that discussed at APNIC 56 conference in Japan, I won't be expressing my voice. I need to stay neutral as a Secretariat staff. So I won't be expressing my voice, but I will read out what the proposal is. And you can actually go and visit the proposals, and you can make your own judgment or decision of what that proposal is and what you think of that proposal. Why do we need these resource policies? It's basically to resources, the IP resources are public resources, okay? We have a custodianship of managing those resources and distributing them, APNIC and NIR, including NIRs as well, in a fair and consistent process. So to do that, we need policies in place. Otherwise, I do whatever I feel like doing and my colleagues will do whatever they feel like doing. That's not how it should be managed. It should be managed in a proper way. And these policies will guide the Secretariat, APNIC staff, NIR staff in managing these resources. And it's also to ensure that these number resources are provided or delegated as per the technical requirements of the networks. So we don't waste them, so it was wasted in the past, but we no longer waste them. We look at a request, we go through the request from the resource holder, and then we analyze and ask questions, what's the technical justification. APNIC's role is to provide information, like here, I'm presenting this information to you all. So that's my role as a policy officer at APNIC, my provide information to you or to the community, whoever requests that information. To support the Policy SIG, I'll talk that in a bit in later slides, and also to help the authors, as I said, with the wording of the proposals. Sometimes they don't know how to write it, or they may have an idea, but they don't know how to put it in a format that to discuss with everyone. And also, once the proposals are agreed by everyone, and when the time comes to implement them, it's our role to implement those proposals into policies, and then educate the community of the changes of those policies. So the APNIC policy framework is that we have a Policy SIG. Chendi, who just in his introduction, he said that this is a Policy SIG. So we have a Policy SIG at APNIC, and the Policy SIG have a charter, and this is the charter of the Policy SIG at APNIC. I'm not going to read it. You can read it. I hope you can all see the wordings on the slide. You can read it. But basically, it facilitates the process of discussing anything related to the internet number resources, not the financial side of it, not the membership fees, but just the resources part only. And a SIG, you said Policy SIG, right? A SIG is a special interest group. It's a forum. It's forum for everyone to come together, and it's formed by the community. They are the ones who said we need a special interest group to discuss the resource policies. So that's a forum. They formed it, and this forum actually encourages the discussion of proposals, encourages the submission of proposals, and encourages to make changes to the current policies as well. And anyone can join this SIG. There's no fee attached to the SIG. You don't have to pay anything. It's free and open for anyone and everyone to join and take part in this SIG. And this SIG actually happens at APNIC conferences, but they also have a mailing list and online discussion forum that you can join and discuss the proposals. So these are the current SIG chairs. The chair is Bertrand, co-chair Anupam, co-chair Shaila. They have two co-chairs and his chair. All these three people are elected by the community, and they are the ones who organize these open policy meetings at APNIC conference twice a year, once in February and the other one in September of every year. And my role is the Secretariat support. I provide support to these individuals and to the entire community, to the Policy SIG and open policy meetings as well. Now, the Policy SIG, when they facilitate the open policy meeting, the proposals get discussed. So how do the community members come together and discuss and agree on those proposals? We have a consensus making process. What that means is it's not a vote, it's not elections, where you say, I vote for this person or this person. No, it's not. You actually provide your objections, whether they're minor or major, whether you agree or you provide objections to ask more questions to the person who is proposing the proposal. And all the participants, they come together, they work together, whether to agree or not to agree on that proposal. So that's the concession making process. And we have a tool. So if you're joining remotely, I'm joining remotely to this TWNIC OPM today. So if you cannot attend the APNIC conference in person, you can actually join remotely, and you can go to that URL. When the proposal is presented, when the consensus call is called, then you can express your opinion on that proposal. And you can also ask questions remotely to the proposer, or you can make your comments remotely as well. So in the room, if you're in the room attending the open policy meeting, when the chair call for consensus, usually they'll say, raise your hand. So you raise your hand whether you agree or you oppose. But if you're participating remotely, you click on those buttons, whether you support or strongly support, neutral, oppose, strongly oppose. And then that's a heat map. The heat map will then demonstrate whether that proposal receiving support or not receiving support or staying neutral. Based on this, the SIG chairs then will discuss among themselves. They'll see what happened on the mailing list, what happened on the confer, what's the discussion happened in the room, and then they will decide whether that proposal reached consensus or not. The policies change constantly. So we have policy proposals at every APNIC conference because these policies, the current policies change constantly, or the community want to introduce new policies into the policy process. So and the good policy, if any proposal that needs to become a policy, a requirement is that it needs a range of opinions. Those who agree, those who don't agree, those who stay neutral, all come together and discuss it. And these are policies developed by NIRs, NIR members, and the whole internet community, not just the APNIC region. Even the people from other regions come and participate in this bottom-up process as well. And it's an open consultation, open consensus and open consultation process. So who can participate? You can participate. You don't need to think that I'm a member of TWNIC, I cannot participate. No, it's open for everyone. TWNIC staff can participate. You can participate, and you can actually provide your comments to TWNIC staff. Then they will relay your comments to the open policy meeting at the conference. So you can exchange the views in the TWNIC open policy meetings, about the proposals, and then they can bring it to the APNIC conference. So any questions so far on the process? If not, I'll give a quick update on the proposals that discussed at APNIC 56 conference that just happened in September in Japan, in Kyoto. We had 5 proposals on the table. We had 5 proposals that discussed at the conference. The first one is we assign a number to every proposal that's submitted to APNIC. So the Prop 148 is the number of this proposal. Leasing of resources is not acceptable. Now, as I said, I cannot, as a APNIC Secretariat staff, can voice my opinion on the proposal. So I will just read out what's there, and you can also read and understand what this proposal is about. If you need more details, you can go to the APNIC website or the APNIC 56 conference website, and you can click on that proposal number, and you can actually read more details of that proposal. So this proposal is saying that leasing of IP resources in APNIC region is not acceptable. That means network providers or resource holders who receive IP resources from NIRs, from APNIC, are not allowed to lease resources to others. Now they can transfer the resources, okay? They can assign the resources if they have a connectivity agreement, but they cannot lease the resources. Now the issue with the community identified with this proposal was that the definition of leasing is not defined clearly. Okay, it's not very clear what it means by leasing. Okay, and it's not very clear, what actually is not right in the current existing policies that network operators, provide those resources to their customers. The justification need, the validation, the connectivity of service, etc. So this proposal was rejected, and you see the red cross down the bottom. This proposal was rejected. I'll provide the status of each proposal later on, but at the APNIC conference, in the open policy meeting, this was rejected because the community just could not agree on this proposal, and the definition of the leasing was not provided clearly. The second one was Prop 152, reduce the IPv4 delegation from /23 to 24. So the current delegation, maximum delegation size is /23 in IPv4, regardless whether you come to APNIC or go to TWNIC or any NIR, that's the maximum we receive from whatever we have currently, the IPv4 resources. Now this proposal actually wanted to reduce that to /24. So that's the maximum. The minimum and maximum will be /24 that anyone will get, and especially reserve that space for the new members. So the existing members, if they already received the /23 and resources, IPv4 resources in the past, they are not eligible to receive any more resources from this reserved space, only reserved for the new members. This is also to help with the IPv6 deployment in the future. So all the new entities that come into the internet business, they don't have to go straight directly to IPv6 deployment. They can come to APNIC or NIRs and get this /24 and then begin the process of deploying IPv6 or moving to IPv6 slowly. And this proposal also, if it reached consensus, was applicable to NIR account holders only. So not just APNIC, but NIR members will be complied with this policy if it was approved. But it was not approved, it was not reached consensus. So this was also rejected on the basis that the clear justification is not provided for this proposal. There's two proposals on this page, Prop 153, proposed changes to PDP. This is actually making changes to the actual policy development process. There's a little bit ambiguity, there's a little bit confusion in the development process regarding when a proposal can be submitted, what are the deadlines, when can a proposal can be resubmitted, etc. So this proposal was bringing that clarity, but look, the community thought, the current PDP process is good enough. Everyone understands it. They said, they don't have to make any changes to the current process. So this was also rejected. Basically, did not reach consensus. The next one is Prop 154, resizing of IPv4 assignment for IXPs. The wording here is just a summary of the proposal, but I suggest that you actually go and read this proposal because there's a lot more explained in the proposal than what you see on the screen here. It basically says that, all the the default size of IPv4 assignment for IXPs from a /23 to /26, which can be replaced up to a maximum of 22 if the IXP returns. So basically what the proposal author was saying that is, why we're giving it 23, 24 to all the IXPs, regardless of their size. This IXPs have different membership with them. Some IXPs are new, they have very few members. Some IXPs are very large, they have a lot of members, but not all IXPs require a /23. So they suggested to reduce the size to a minimum /26 to start with. And as the IXP grows, they can come and get more IPv4 resources to a maximum of /22, not more than /22. But this proposal was also not accepted, not agreed by the community. So both these proposals got rejected. The last one, the fifth proposal that was presented was Prop 155, IPv4 assignment for associate members. So currently the associate members I don't know how many of you familiar, and I don't know whether you have the same level of membership at TWNIC, but at APNIC, all the request holders will start from associate member. So they become associate member, that's the base membership. And then they can request, as part of the associate member, they can request AS number, but they cannot request IP resources being an associate member. Of course, they can request IP resources, but once they're qualified and they receive IP resources, IPv4, IPv6, then their membership tier will go up, change to very small, and etc. But this proposal is saying that the assignments for the provider independent networks as an associate member, they can request IPv6 allocation. And they don't need to become a very small member. They can just stay as an associate member and not need to pay any fees as well. So this proposal is very interesting. It's actually not really talks about the membership fee, but it implies that the membership fee is attached to this proposal. Okay, so they made a recommendation in the proposal for the EC to consider the changes to APNIC membership tiers and voting rights in that membership document. And according to this proposal, whoever received this IPv6 independent address space cannot be transferred. So those IPv6 resources, if they receive it, they have to use them. They cannot transfer to others. So they are non-transferable. If they don't want to use it, they return back to NIRs or back to APNIC. Now, this proposal actually reached consensus. Everyone agreed that this is a good proposal. But because this proposal also relies on the membership fee tiers and the voting rights of that associate members, it is now up to the APNIC EC to discuss and to whether they agree or disagree on this proposal. So every proposal that get discussed at APNIC conferences, when they reach consensus at APNIC open policy meeting, then they have to reach consensus at the APNIC member meeting or APNIC general meeting, which will be on the following day at the conference. When it reaches at both these sessions, then that proposal goes back to the community for further discussion, for a final call for comment. And if everyone agrees, then it will be sent to the APNIC executive committee, or executive council, sorry, for their endorsement. Okay, they have to endorse each and every proposal that's been agreed by the community. Only after they endorse the proposal, that will become a policy and goes for the policy implementation. So the status of all these 5 proposals, the first one, leasing of resources is not acceptable. It did not reach consensus and it got abandoned at the conference because the community just don't have any interest to pursue that proposal any further because it was presented multiple times and they're not just interested. So it got abandoned. So it's not going to come back, or maybe it will come back with a different wording, different terminology, I don't know. The other 3 proposals, 152, 153, 154, they did not reach consensus at APNIC conference, but they are sent back to the community for discussion. So these 3 proposals may come back to the next conference with a new version based on the community feedback. The last one, 155, is sent to the APNIC Executive Council members for their endorsement. And we are waiting for the EC, APNIC EC, to endorse that proposal. I don't know what would be their call on that proposal. So I'm waiting for them to let me know. So this is the status of the proposal. Now, how you can participate in those 3 proposals that's still under discussion is by joining the Policy SIG mailing list. There's a URL there. I shared my slides with TWNIC staff. I think they will upload that to the conference website. You can access them. You can review the proposals by going to that URL. You can go to the proposals, those are under discussion, and actually have a look at it. And then you discuss with your peers, your colleagues, and see whether they all agree with it or what changes need to be done to that proposal. And you can share those your reviews with the TWNIC staff, and then they can share at the APNIC conference. Now, I suggest that you take part in this open policy meetings at APNIC conference, at TWNIC OPM, and have your say in this policy development process. So thank you, and thank you once again, and I'm happy to stay and take any questions if you have any.
Thanks, Sunny. It's a wonderful speech. It's all about the APNIC, the policy development process, and the policy update in detail. If there are any recommendation or suggestion or questions about the policy proposal Sunny mentions, and I think there are some policy proposal will be discussed in the APNIC meeting. I think we will bring Taiwan TWNIC communities' opinions to APNIC for some contribution. And if there, okay.
Sorry, Ching-Heng, if I may, you can speak in your own language. Ask them to ask questions in your own language. You can translate to me.
Okay, it's no problem. Yeah. So maybe we have more collect more comment related to the policy proposal, and we can join the APNIC meeting next time. Yes, thank you very much. And if there is no questions on site or online, let's give a big applause to thanks the Sunny again, and to thanks the Sunny's speech. Okay, thank you very much. 我们下一个演讲者是TWNIC 王彦杰工程师，那他会为我们介绍 TWNIC Policy 还有 Service Update。那我们掌声来欢迎王彦杰。
大家下午好。那我是 TWNIC 工程师王彦杰。那今天主要会做那个 TWNIC Policy 跟 Service 的一个 Update 的说明。好，那 TWNIC 呢，目前我们这边今天的 agenda 大概会分为3个，一个就是 TWNIC 的 Policy 的一个 Update， 那还有 TWNIC 目前的一些统计的一些资料状态，那还有 TWNIC 做办的一些活动啊，还有我们的教育训练等等的。那我们 TWNIC 呢，在今年2023年2月16号的时候，有公布一个 IP 会员协议书签订公告，也就是说，依据我们的第95次的 IP 委员会的一个决议呢，只要是跟TWNIC 这边申请的 IP 的会员啊，不管是代理发放单位或是使用单位啊，我们需要去在签署一个代理发放单位或是使用单位的一个协议书，那而且要按照我们的发放管理办法来一个缴交我们的相关的费用。那如果说没有的话，就会去失去资格。那如果说之前的单位如果还没有跟我们申请，就还没有签协议书的话，也要在期限内跟我们来签协议书啊。这个部分我们已经在2月16号的时候已经公布在网络上。那第二个部分是8月31号的时候，我们有公布我们的 IP 会员个人资料保护法的一个应告知事项。那我们就是依照这个依照这个个人资料保护法的这个相关法令规定来收集、处理跟利用我们的客户的一个资料。那我们的会员也需要去遵守这个法令。那第3个就是 TWNIC 在10月2号有公告我们的停止网际网络中心的交换中心的认可程序的一个公告。那依据我们的8月10号第97次的 IP 委员会我们会停止这个网际网络交换中心认可的一个作业程序而且并会废止我们的一个网际网络交换中心的参考作业规范，那也移除了我们的认可作业程序跟运作参考规范的一个网页。那TWNIC 呢，在近期有参与到 APNIC 的 Policy， 是我们的 APNIC 的 Proposal 127，好，那就是将我们的这个最大分配的这个位置，从 /22， 我们降到/23， 好，可以延长我们 IPv4 的一个使用的一个时限。那这个部分我们是在2019年的时候 APNIC 47次会议的时候有达成共识，而且已经实施。那这边整理了近5年 APNIC 这边的一个会议的一个决议，然后跟去实施的一个这个 policy 的部分。那其中我们可以看一下在Proposal 142，TWNIC 在2022年的时候呢，也已经按照这个 规范，好来去做这个实施。然后139也是在139跟136，啊，这个也都是在2022年的时候，啊 TWNIC 就是按照 APNIC 的一个部分去做这个 policy 的一个 implement。那在2019年的时候，我们有去实施这个 proposal 127，因为这个127也就是 TWNIC 这边台湾这边提出的，啊，所以我们也就是有去做这个implement。2021年的时候有那个实施那个 proposal 125，啊，就是我们的 build content 的一个 validation 的一个验证。那 TWNIC 目前IP 的会员数量啊，总共有333家啊，其中代理发放单位有56家啊，旧制非代理发放单位有51家，新制非代理代理发放单位有226家。在 IP 的部分核发部分呢 ，TWNIC 在到112年11月啊，目前总共核发了133186个/24的 IPv4， 然后核发了2575个/32的 IPv6。在全球IP 核发的状况可以看到，目前还是美国 IPv4 跟 V6都是美国最多。那台湾这边的话，目前大概是有大概3500多万个 IPv4 位置，然后跟2615个/32的 IPv6的位置。那在 IPv6 使用率的部分呢，我们在2023年11月的时候有达到了58.8%。好，那我们可以看一下，我们之前在2017年底的时候呢，大概是只有0.46% 而已，所以我们的那个 IP 的使用率的增长是一直非常快。那目前在台湾 IPv6 的那个排名大概是全世界第9名。那在11月11号的时候，我们这边量测到是IPv6 的使用率是大概58.34%啊，在全球排名是第11名。那我们可以看到我们的主要台湾6大电信业者呢，在4G、5G 的行动网络部分，好，因为它是新建网络啊，导入 IPv6 的包袱会比较少。那如果说在固网的旧的固网 CP 的设备的支援程度不一，啊，太旧的换新的一个过程比较复杂也费时，好，所以那个在固网部分啊，我们还是需要持续的去做这个新增。那 TWNIC 也架设了一个 IPv6 的推广网站啊，可以让我们的个人的那个升级，或者是企业的一个升级，好来升级 IPv6 有一些说明，好一些文件都可以供各位参考。那TWNIC 在2023年的第3季有做连线频宽调查，好，在目前在国内的话呢，会是像 NCIC 台固亚太交换中心、APNIC 跟中嘉核网是我们的前5大的国内的互联的一个单位。那在国外的话呢，会前3大是 APNIC， 然后台固，还有我们的那个 TWGate 中华电信转国际的部分是前3大的联外机构。那我国对外目前的连线总频宽已经达到了8719711 Mbps。好，较上一季新增了12万多。那这边这张图是可以看到是我们的每年国外连线频宽的一个总成长图。那在到9月底统计，我们目前对国外的14个对外地区的一个联网，啊，在美国是以250万，啊，是在我国连线频宽最高的一个最主要的连线国家。那在我们的 abuse content 验证的部分呢，我们目前在今年上半年的进行的部分结果是目前有271个会员大概84.2%有完成了验证。那我们是今年5月底的时候开始验证，好，那在15天内呢有179家完成验证，那30天内有228家完成验证，那像目前总共是271家有完成验证。那我们今年下半年的验证呢，大概会在11月下旬的开始进行。那到时候也请我们 TWNIC 的会员，好来协助我们完成那个联络人的验证。那在 RPKI 统计的部分，目前 RPKI ROA 的部分在台湾的在全世界排名大概是68名，那比例大概是85.73%。那我们的如果在亚洲的部分呢，目前大概排名在25名，比例大概是就是比例一样但是我们在亚洲排名大概是目前是25名。那在 ROV 的部分呢，就是做那个 validate 那个验证的部分。好，目前台湾 ROV 的比例大概是70.42%，在亚洲的排名是第3名。那刚刚讲是台湾的部分，那如果是整个TWNIC 这边来看的话呢，我们目前在那个 IPv4 的 prefix 的一个 routing 的部分，已经是有 valid prefix 有到97.7%， 那在 V6 大概有到97.9%。好，就是我们台湾 TWNIC 这边的推广还是非常的是很有那个帮助的。那接下来就是 TWNIC 的一些活动跟我们的教育训练的一个说明。那其实我们 OPM 是大概从2003年 好开始进行第1届的 OPM， 那今年已经第20年了，我们每年会有2次的 OPM 的会议。那之前都是实体参加，那又有疫情之后呢，我们其实也会有开放线上的，好让大家一起从线上参与。那OPM 这边呢，通常我们会有一些固定的一些 SIG， 好，像是 Policy SIG、Cooperation SIG、Cyber Security SIG、IP Video Deployment SIG， 还有 Operational Technology SIG， 好，这是我们固定的一个 SIG， 都会有那个邀请讲者来参与。那也会有时候会有一些 buff， 好，例如像是Internet Jurisdiction 的一个 buff， 还有 DNSSEC 的一个 buff， 好，有时候会有这些 buff 的场次。那我们在去年12月1号办了第38届的那个 OPM 的一个会议，好，那我们那时候的keynote speech 也是请那个 Jeff Houston， 好，他讲的是 Future Network Need 的部分。那在今年5月的时候呢，我们第39届的 OPM 呢是跟我们那个第4届的 ICANN APNIC TWNIC Engagement Forum 好一起合办。好，那这时候像我们的数位部的唐峰部长TWNIC 的董事长好，然后像 APNIC 的那个 PO 也都有参与，都有来现场参加。那我们今年在11月9号的时候有举办一个数位转型趋势的 IPv6 推广座谈会，好，在 IEAT 的会议室，也就是举办，好，也是完美的圆满的成功。那另外就是 TWNIC 有在办一些IP 网络通讯人才教育训练的部分。那这个部分呢，我们今年总共会办4场，那目前已经前3场在高雄、台北、云林的部分已经举行完毕。好，已经举办完毕。那第4场在台南是11月23号，好，也是会实体的举办。那在2023年 TWNIC 跟 APNIC 也有一个 joint training， 好，那主题是 IPv6 跟 RPKI 的部分。那这个时间是今年的6月13号到15号，好，那有现场跟线上的一个参与。好，那这边就是一些统计资料，好，给大家参考。好，那我的介绍到这边，看大家有没有什么问题。
谢谢燕杰。那大家对燕杰报告有没有什么想要询问的部分？好，如果没有的话，那让我们再次掌声来谢谢燕杰。
谢谢。